Sorry, Renee, you'll have to turn your camera back on just to say that you're happy with the recording. Everyone else should be okay to leave it off. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. So welcome everyone to our 4th Industry Insight webinar. Today we are focusing on computing, technology, AI, and we have Renee with us from Computer Centre. So over to you, Renee.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Good morning, everyone, and thank you very much for registering for this Computer Centre Industry Insight webinar. And it'll be fantastic to hear, obviously, from yourselves. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, please do ask. But generally, in terms of finding out a little bit more about the company, about the industry of technology, and also generally about the job opportunities we have available to students and also anyone else looking for those in different careers across the IT industry and also in our business teams. I thought I'd just formally introduce myself as well. So I've been at Computer Centre for about 3 years now. I joined on the graduate programme 3 years ago under the teams under business management. And then I went into the service management design team. And then that was working with customers, for example, working with BT. And that was a role that I first started within when I joined Computer Centre. Then following on from that, I got my new opportunity to work in early careers. And I've now been an early careers CSR specialist for the last 2 years. Later on the call or shortly on the call, I'll be introducing my colleague who is Mante, who's a former apprentice, who'll be our guest speaker for this session as well. So just going on to my first part of the video and first part of the session, I have a video to share with you, which is an introductory video to Computer Centre, and I hope you can hear my sound. Okay, fantastic. So I do have a bit of an icebreaker task to share with yourselves as well. So I'm going to start with the fun facts quiz, and then I'll go on to explain a bit more about my journey, who Computer Centre actually are. We'll also have our guest speaker, Mante, talk about her journey as an apprentice and also into her new role within Computer Centre, then the job opportunities available here at the company, our work culture, and also sometimes some questions later on. Okay, so just a couple of questions about myself and the company. So please feel free to use the chat or also unmute if you'd like to. So very first question, you may or may not know the answer to this, but you are welcome to have a guess. Can anyone guess what famous food-related app Computer Centre has actually helped develop? So one of these 4 brands on the screen were actually our customers a few years ago, and that's between Uber Eats, Domino's, Deliveroo or Get In. Welcome to use the chat box if needed. Number 3, Deliveroo. That's not the correct answer, but thank you for guessing. It's not Uber Eats either, unfortunately. Thank you for guessing as well. Yes, it is Domino's. Thank you, Sarah. Yes, it is Domino's. So Domino's was a customer of ours a few years ago, and that is the correct answer. Okay, next question is about myself. Can anyone guess which European country my family and I have recently moved to out of the 4 answers on the screen? So it's either Ireland, Italy, Netherlands, or Spain. Okay, Netherlands, Italy. Unfortunately, they aren't the right answers, and it's not Ireland either. The answer is Spain, but thank you for guessing. It's actually Spain, so pretty much for the summer in terms of the weather that they have there, and I do spend most of my Christmases there as well. Thank you for that. And last but not least, a bit of a myth buster about computer centre and also working in the IT industry, can you guess the correct answer to this question? So do you need to have any IT background, IT expertise, IT qualifications prior to working at a computer centre? You might, for example, need to have an IT GCSE or in computing, maybe have studied a STEM A-level or college course. You might not need any IT expertise, or you need to have a degree within computer science before joining the company. Which particular answer is correct? And I'll just check chat box. Someone said number one. Okay, it's not number one, but thank you for that. And it is, yes, that's right. It's number three, no expertise. So thank you for sharing that as well. So a lot of people do think because we're on IT industry and obviously work within technology that you need to have a prior background in IT. That's definitely not the case. And even though if you have studied IT before, that is fantastic. But if you haven't, there are still lots of roles you can apply to, whether in technical teams or in our business teams as well. You'll find out a little bit in just a second that my background actually is not in IT whatsoever. So again, you can apply to lots of different roles. But if it wasn't for myself finding a computer centre at a careers fair and actually finding out about the business opportunities available at the company, I would have definitely thought the same, and I would never have applied to computer centre because I thought I definitely don't have the skills to be able to work for the organisation and I wouldn't get hired whatsoever. But actually anyone can apply from any background, whether that's a biology background, maths background, history, and there are lots of different roles you can go into. Even if you are going into a technical role without an IT background, we can actually provide all of that training for you on the job. But again, you can also go into our business teams as well, and I'll share that with you shortly. So just briefly about my background myself. So when I was doing my GCSEs, I actually picked French, German, history and design and technology. So no STEM subjects per se and also not IT subjects related. Then I did do my A-levels in pretty much the same few subjects. So French, German, business and economics. And then I did decide to take the university route throughout my school education. For myself personally, at the time, I definitely thought that I would consider either a degree apprenticeship within business or actually going to university. As you can probably guess from this slide, my passion was very much aligned to languages, and that is particularly why I picked the university route, so I could do my placement year abroad in France and Germany. But otherwise, looking at the opportunities available now and also to everyone, whether obviously you're coming out of school as a student or a college student, or again, anywhere in your career, the apprenticeship programs available now there are so many surplus apprenticeships available with some of the largest organisations in the UK as well. So I think now more than ever, apprenticeships have been absolutely fantastic, and also degree apprenticeships that are available as well are very sought after, and there's a lot of demand for these. So I think if I was to go back, I probably would have done an apprenticeship programme. But for me, again, it was just to have the language aspect and to be able to travel abroad. So when I finished my university degree, again, as I mentioned earlier on, I didn't actually have any prior interest in IT or technology itself. Again, it was just a careers fair that I met a computer centre at, and I found out about the job opportunities there. I also saw the company was international. I thought, yeah, this is absolutely fantastic. And I could have opportunities to travel within my job and also work with the French and German team in the future. And that's still something that is part of my career plan as I stand at a computer centre. Then I moved into my role within early careers and future talent. And now my job is to actually run the early careers programme within outreach. So my dedicated role is to run the schools outreach programme for the UK, and that's working with schools, colleges and universities, and also linking that to careers in terms of employability skills, workshops, business challenges, career fairs that we run, different employability events, and also mock interviews, mock assessment centres, and career fairs that we run across schools and universities. So that is my main role now at Computer Centre. Very quickly to touch on, this is the photo I thought I'd like to share with you in terms of my day-to-day in my life. So in terms of the roles that I have to do in terms of going into schools, doing presentations, hosting students at our sites across the UK. So that could be in any of our offices across London, Hertfordshire, Manchester, Birmingham, all the way up to Edinburgh. And these are just a few of the schools that I've worked with across London, Essex, Scotland, Hertfordshire and Manchester that you may or may not recognise. And then of course different events that we have on are varying from where they are in the year and also across the academic term as well. Very quickly to touch on this before I hand over to Mante. So in terms of our actual providing and also offering to different companies, Computer Centre itself does not actually make any of their own technology themselves. So the IT equipment and devices that we utilise in the company are not Computer Centre branded. We actually work really closely with our partners, for example, Dell Technologies, HP, Lenovo, Microsoft, and Apple, to distribute all of our technology to our customers, whilst also providing our own IT services with all the people that work in the organisation. So following on from this, you can work in the company as someone in the business team, and that could be, say, sales, HR, we have a media and creative services team, you can work in partner management, you can work in our legal department as well, so you can actually do law within an IT company as well, and also lots of other areas that you can have in terms of project management and also other business teams. If you were technical, then of course you can go into our technical roles, which could be cybersecurity, that could be data analysis roles, software engineers, technical engineers as well, and also our new programs are related to software development. These are lots of different things that you could do within Computer Centre, and again, you don't need to have prior expertise to be able to get into these roles. But generally in Computer Centre, we now have over 20,000 people working for us across the globe, so it's a huge organisation, and we've been around for 43 years. And that's just a brief overview of the company, and I'll come back to that very shortly as I now introduce our guest speaker, which is Mante. And apologies for that, and handing over to you, Mante, and thank you very much for joining this webinar.
Hello, can everyone hear me? Okay, so nice to meet you, everyone. My name is Mante Samashita. I've been at Computer Centre for a little over 2 years now. I currently work as a vulnerability analyst, so this means I work in a team that perform analysis and remediations for any systems on our estate. My main focus are on servers. So initially, I joined Computer Centre as a level 4 business analyst apprentice, which was for a year and a half. So I've only actually been full-time in my current role for about 10 months. I'll start at my educational background. So for GCSEs, I did geography, business studies, computer science, and BTech IT. So I was definitely geared towards the technology side of having a career. I definitely liked working by myself, working with a computer, and I knew that the IT industry is always something that's going to be changing and developing in the future. And I like learning. So I was like, this is the best place for me to be in. It was after I completed my GCSEs, I decided to go to sixth form. Whilst I was filling out my applications, suddenly decided this was not for me. Decided to go to college instead and did level 3 IT. So this was in North Herts College for 2 years. As everyone, I decided to take the university course as well. However, in my last year in college, I decided that I would rather do an apprenticeship, and that was after Computer Centre came into my college to do a small workshop about what is an apprenticeship, what opportunities are available at Computer Centre as well. During college, I was actually working part-time as well in a bubble tea shop. So I was doing 3 days college, 3 days working. So the whole idea of balancing work and studies, I was very aware of already. So it kind of seemed like the right choice for me to do. I would recommend apprenticeships for anyone. I really enjoyed doing my apprenticeship. You had so much development throughout the whole process. So for the first few months in my apprenticeship, I worked in change management. As a business analyst, there wasn't much tech going on. I was writing a lot of documentation, reviewing processes, doing analysis of the business as a whole. However, I spoke to my manager, decided that I do want to do something a bit more techy. I moved into risk management, so that was looking after all our systems and software, understanding the licensing behind it and the risks associated with that. Moved into automation testing. So this was new servers that we were going to use, but we had to test them first. Chose to do that as well for a few weeks. Disaster recovery before I finally did my final rotation in vulnerability management, where I kind of found my spot. So vulnerability management, there was a lot more data analysis with it. I was working more directly with the servers itself and understanding the whole network infrastructure of Computer Centre, which is quite complex, still learning it too now. Computer Centre I see myself working here for a few more years. There's so many opportunities available, especially at computer center. Even if you're full-time or as an apprentice, I've been able to do volunteering whilst being an apprentice, go to very like specialized courses to study more technical stuff, network with amazing people all around the company, not just from my team, but from the business side, from the HR side, from seniors to directors as well. They are very supportive of young women in tech as well. So I was actually the only girl in college for 2 years, and I'm currently one of the 3 girls in my vulnerability management team. But they're so supportive and they provide so much support for me to grow and develop. They all are aware of a leadership role I want to have in the future in my career, and they're always there asking me what they can do to help me support what courses I want to do in order to improve my skill sets. So I would recommend it very highly. So my key takeaways from my apprenticeship have been that you have to take every opportunity given to you. I would say this doesn't just apply to apprenticeships, but in early careers as well. Take any opportunity given to you, even if you don't feel so certain about it. So a little insight is during my rotation of automation testing, I actually did not enjoy it. The technology behind it, I couldn't really grab my head around it, and it wasn't that interesting to learn about. The documentation as well that I was doing, it was a lot, and I was like, this doesn't seem what I want to be doing for the next few years in my career. I was able to speak to my manager, change into a different rotation. But during my 6 weeks in that team, I learned so much. I learned what I don't want in my career, what kind of works I don't want to be doing as well. And that is so important for anyone starting their career or doing a career change. Take any opportunity that's given to you, make the most of it. Because you need to know what you like and don't like in order to progress and get the dream job you want.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Manta. I really appreciate that. And does anyone have any questions for her before she leaves? I'll just open the chat to give you a couple of seconds. Mandy, what would you say has been your biggest learning curve in terms of your whole journey at Computer Centre so far? What would you say that you've learned the most from your journey?
The most that I've learned is, I think, communication, but communication as an overall subject, the confidence that it comes behind it to speak to a manager that you haven't known before, the way to present yourself when you're speaking in a meeting as well. That communication, that confidence, I learned it at a rate that I did not think it was possible. Within a few months at Computer Center, I went from being a shy individual to being able to host meetings with directors and tell them actions that I need from them for me to do my own job. That has been amazing and so eye-opening, and I just wish everyone could experience that as well.
Fantastic. No, that's a really good point to share. Thank you for that. And yeah, just for example, even knowing from when you've joined the company, seeing how you've grown, also the presentations that you've given to different school students, and also the things that you've done outside of your role, but then also how you've progressed. You've also started your own podcast within the company, so working with the apprentices on that, which has been amazing. And how have you found that experience in terms of taking the leadership step into doing a podcast within Computer Centre?
It's been amazing. It's been a bit stressful, I can't lie, but so is project management. It's been actually really fun. There's so many different individuals within the company, even apprentices and full-time employees, that I want to shine a light on. I haven't taken a traditional like education route whatsoever. I did not go to sixth form. I did not go to university. I had the opportunities, but decided to go against it. And I do not regret any of my choices, and I want to shine more light on that, because I know going to sixth form and going to university is such a big thing for people, especially coming from an Eastern European background. My family did not understand what an apprenticeship was, but it reinforced the idea that I'm still studying, I'm still working, I'm building a career. And I want to help more people understand that, especially guardians as well, because this is the future. IT is the future, and apprenticeships are the future as well. Not trying to bash university in any way, but sometimes you need more experience than knowledge, and IT is definitely one of those industries.
I completely agree. No, it's so true. Even though I have taken the university route and I have actually decided to take on an apprenticeship myself, which I'll be completing shortly this year, when you do actually think about it, coming out of university, everyone's coming out with the same degree, and then you all have to source graduate programs within the same time that you've all graduated, and you've had 4 years out. Some people actually don't get a placement to do either on their university course, so you would have actually had no work experience. And then those who had an apprenticeship program opportunity coming straight from school, college, or anywhere else in their career with actual experience within the workplace, and then obviously seeing how that can flourish for the rest of your career is a no-brainer. And of course, you are getting paid as well. So it's a fantastic opportunity, and you are getting the skills so early on, and that is uncomparable in terms of experience. So yes, you can have a degree, but actually having the experience that you need for your job is even more important. And as you mentioned earlier on, in terms of networking, your skills development, how you can build in your CV, and that can also link to further job opportunities as well, either in the same organisation or from externals too. So I completely agree with you on that as well.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I feel like apprenticeships are definitely quite useful for people to think about if they're unsure of what subject they want to study. I thought studying computer science as a whole in university, there wouldn't be much benefit from it, but I didn't know which field I wanted to specialize in. And with this apprenticeship, I was able to test out different things without the consequences, with changing majors or changing subjects or courses. And it's been so valuable. And now I know a bit more about which path I want to take in the IT industry.
Definitely, fantastic. And just for the last couple of minutes, would you mind just quickly showcasing your journey from the start at Computer Centre?
Yeah, so I joined in July 2022, so over 2 years ago, and I joined as a level 4 business analyst. It was only me and one other individual in the whole department. So we were kind of like the test dummies in the department for apprentices. Within a few months, I already had my first project. It was a lot of data analysis of certain incidents within the company. Come September, I started my official learning. So during this month, I did a lot of online training. Went residential trainings with my training provider, which is like a week away. All expenses paid, but you do a very intense course where you do an exam and get a qualification at the end. Over the next few months, I was changing departments, learning new skills. November was actually the first time I decided to do some volunteering. I thought I would like to give back to the community somehow and express what I've learned so far. Come at the beginning of 2023, I actually had some case studies done on me by my old college and my training provider. So that was quite fun having these interviews done. Over the next Throughout 2023, it was very intense. It was coming to the end of my apprenticeship. I was doing a lot new projects, doing my rotations, doing more volunteering and getting more technical with the work that I was doing, making more precise process mapping that I would need to present back to execs. January 2024, so this year, is when I finally decided and had my idea of a apprentice focused podcast approved, and that's when we held our first recording session that could be found on the Computer Centre YouTube channel. It's currently in the works of new episodes coming out later this year. And March is when I was able to join the Apprentice Ambassador Network. So this is a countrywide network of apprentices and people that work with apprentices to promote any opportunities, help people as well join an apprenticeship. And for the future, I'm not sure what's available just yet, but I'm working within the vulnerability management team. I'm gaining more responsibilities. I want to work my way up in the cybersecurity area of IT. And that's my journey, the 2.5 years at Computer Centre.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Manto. Really appreciate that. And again, if anyone does have any questions for her, please feel free to contact myself or the team, which I'll share later on in the slide. But thank you very much for your time and thank you for joining.
Thank you
Thanks,
so
Mante.
much.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of the session.
Thank you. Okay, so I thought I'd also share a few of the customers that we work with. So even if you may not know who Computer Centre are, of course, we are situated in the Hatfield Business Park, but actually some of the customers we might know are very well known, but people might not know who Computer Centre are as an organisation. But all the customers that we work with across the globe are obviously quite big brands, and how we support them differently with all the technology that they require to run their operations and their business. So for example, if you've been to a hospital unfortunately recently, or again in terms of the NHS and actually any of the services provided through the NHS, we actually provide technology to them. So for example, the desktops and the technology and the laptops that you see that the doctors and nurses are using, that is supplied by Computer Centre engineers, and some of the systems in place as well that are used for patient records, for example, how to store medication and also different routes through there is actually provided by Computer Centre as one of our IT services directly for our customers within the NHS. If you've been to London King's Cross Station by any chance, or actually Heathrow Airport, again, some of the screens that you see in these stations or in the airport as well are actually supplied by Computer Centre engineers too. So again, the actual installations of the screens that you see in these places are actually from our teams. And for example, if it needs a new software to be updated, or obviously there's an error on the screens, our teams and our engineers would be called in to fix that. That is very similar with Tesco and Morrison's as well on local supermarkets. So again, the tills that you utilise when you are doing your food shopping, or even the self-scanning gadgets as well, again, the systems behind that and the installations with those screens have actually been installed by our engineers. We also work with different phone providers such as O2 and EE. We also have warehouse facilities provided to Costa and Kellogg's. So yes, we're a tech company, but you're probably thinking, what do we have to do with the food and retail industry? But actually with Kellogg's and Costa, some of the tech used in their warehouses for their mass production of their products, how that gets out into supermarkets and their stores across the UK as well, again, has been supplied by Computer Centre. We also work with companies like the Met Office and BMW, again supporting their employees with their own technology. So that could be, for example, a customer comes to us and they require, say, 10,000 laptops for their teams in the UK or internationally as well. We make sure that they are supplied to those teams. And then, of course, how do they all get set up? How do they all use the same systems to access the same files and conduct their work from wherever they are on the globe? So making sure that is supplied and delivered all across the UK and in Europe and also in other countries as well. And then how their teams can obviously log on, access the same systems, whether that be through Microsoft platforms or any other services that they require as well. Again, that's what we provide to them. I'll quickly just show you as well a slide on our map across the globe. So on this map here, you'll see the different countries that we operate in. And again, the light blue areas is where we have either our office spaces in, headquarters, we also have regional centres as well, and also data centres and service desks. So yes, we are an international organisation, and I do often say to people when I do these talks that if you have a languages background or you are passionate about languages and travel, it's a fantastic skill to have and also talk about on your CV and interviews when you are applying for Computer Centre. We do have a lot of international customers and a lot of our teams are based in different countries as well. We also get to attend quite a few events across the UK and also internationally. So having that language skill is a little bit of putting you on a pedestal and also a fantastic skill to have if you wanted to showcase that as well. I know for myself personally, when I joined Computer Centre, that was definitely something that I was drawn to and I wanted to talk about my language skills, and I have since been given opportunities related to languages and also international travel because I've been able to share that and talk about my experience and my education. So I've been able to work out the German office and also work with the BT Germany customer account team and also work with the French team closely as well. So moving on to the opportunities that we have here at Computer Centre. But just before that, I thought I'd share with you our video of our headquarters in Hatfield. So just playing this video now. Okay, fantastic. So in terms of the opportunities available to everyone on the call and also for future students if you are a teacher on the call as well. So we have a work experience programme that we offer in the summer holidays and the October half term. We specifically do this during the school holidays, so that is actually applicable for those and it isn't interrupting their term time learning or also any exams. So that will be specifically for year 10 to year 13 students, so those in their GCSE levels and also all the way up to sixth form and college age as well. And then we have this twice a year in Hertfordshire, and we also have a programme that runs in London as well. In terms of those outside of that age bracket who wanted to get some work experience as well, we do also host insight days. So if it was a group of people, say from either Step2Skills or an organisation that were interested in coming to Computer Centre to find out a little bit more, we can do bespoke insight days and also run a workshop for you on the day as well. But in terms of the school programmes that we do host, we do have a school programme running for year 10 to year 13 during the school holidays 3 times a year. We do also have our apprenticeship programmes and degree apprenticeship programmes open to anyone from 16 plus. So apologies, if you were going to join us from GCSE level onwards, you could do at the age of 16, or again, those coming from sixth form or college and 18 plus and anybody else in their career, then you can also join our apprenticeship programmes or degree apprenticeship programmes, which I'll share with you shortly. We do also have our university programmes as well. So if those, for example, were in university and you were in your third year, you could do a placement year with us. So that's just 1 year out of your university course, and then you go back to graduate, or again, you can come into the programme on a graduate programme too, post-graduation. So in terms of the opportunities we have available in terms of our apprenticeships and degree apprenticeship programmes, this is applicable to anyone over the age of 16 or 18 plus. So this could be in our business teams, this could be in our business and technology programme, this could be in a project management role, in our sales team or our legal team, and we also have a marketing department too, which is where you could also do apprenticeship or degree apprenticeship within. In terms of our technical roles, we do also have our technical engineering programmes, our junior developer programmes within software development, cybersecurity, data analysis, or also an IT support analysis role as well. These programmes range from all the different places that we have our offices in the UK. So yes, we have 8 different offices and they do vary in terms of the vacancies that we have available. But the majority of our programmes are available in Hatfield and in London. But of course, if you are situated in Milton Keynes, in Nottingham or Manchester, of course, we do have different vacancies available in those areas as well, which differ each year. But if you are Hertfordshire based, which I presume most people are, then of course a lot of the roles will be based within Hertfordshire in our Hatfield HQ in the business park. In terms of the different levels available, so you may or may not be aware that if you were to come in from GCSE level onwards, that would be level 2. If it was A levels onwards, it would be level 3. And then in terms of the other varying ones would be for your apprenticeships and also for those that are in the higher level and your degree apprenticeships too, which would be the equivalent of a grade level 6 and level 7. Even though the duration is labelled here in this table on the screen, this isn't the exact and the only duration that you can do your apprenticeship within. Most people do actually complete it within a shorter period of time, but this is just the general average that you could complete your apprenticeship in as well. But lots of people do complete it within a year or in a year and a half. But for degree apprenticeships, that would be up to 4 years. In terms of the application process for apprenticeship programmes, we do have a starting salary of around £18,000 for our apprenticeship programmes, and obviously that is increasing where it needs to be, and also again with cost of living as well. So in terms of your application, it would be applying with your CV initially, and then we would do our internal eligibility checks as well. And then finally from that, you'll be invited to an interview and also an assessment centre if you were making it through to the last session. And that was also when we have a large number of candidates who are very highly competitive and obviously fantastic in terms of their skill sets. And we wanted to whittle it down to the final few candidates from that programme. And again, if there was huge demand for that particular programme that they applied to. In terms of our application process as well, for those who might require reasonable adjustments, we are Computer Centre, a disability confident employer. So it's also really important that you share with us as well any information that we might require so that we can support you within your role. And reasonable adjustments are in place for those throughout the application process, for those to be supported throughout your application. And again, anything to be declared so we can help you throughout your application as well. And again, if you were to start working with us and what required for your role. In terms of minimum requirements, we do also ask for your GCSEs to be a grade 4 and above in your maths and English language. So again, that is a standard requirement for Computer Centre. Again, not linking this to any IT subjects per se or any business subjects. As long as you do have that as a minimum requirement, that is all we ask for our apprenticeship programmes. And again, if you did have an A-level subject or a college course that you're doing, again, it is the GCSEs that we ask for first and foremost from your CV as a minimum requirement to apply for our programmes. All of our programmes start within September, so that will align with the academic year. So every September, and you would actually be enrolled within Computer Centre to start your role. But our programmes go live at the end of December and also early January, and that's when all of our vacancies have been published for our apprenticeship programmes. And again, from onwards, they will close around March, April time. The recruitment process will continue, so the assessment centres, the interviews around April, June, May time as well. And then you would find out that you have the role, and then you would start with us in the following September. Any questions on that so far? Just going to check the Q&A box. Do you accept GCSE equivalents and functional skills? We do, yes, that's right. So if that was the case, we do actually have programmes that is actually embedded within. So say, for example, if you didn't have that grade within your subjects in maths and English, you'd be able to do a functional skills course additional to that within your apprenticeship programme on the side to be able to get that qualification on the side of doing your actual apprenticeship programme. So I hope that helps. All good, fantastic. Okay, and also just very briefly to talk about the apprenticeship programme. So in terms of the benefits that we have at the company, so even if you were to come in as an apprentice, you are still very much aligned to all of the benefit schemes that we have at Computer Centre. So we have really good, fantastic reward schemes, work-life balance opportunities as well. So in terms of cycling schemes to work and also different things that we offer to our employees. We have a really nice, fantastic apprenticeship community. So we have different events that we put on for them. That could be celebration events, it could be lunches that we do. We have the podcast that Manti spoke about earlier on as well, and also lunch socials that we have, and also different times that we can meet up in the office and look after our apprentices as well. We do also have a mentor scheme in place. So when you do actually align to the apprenticeship programme, you would have a mentor aligned to you and a coach that you would have one-to-ones with. And again, of course, you have your line manager to have your support within you, and also the wider community that we have within early careers, and also within your dedicated departmental team as well. So they very much are looking for supportive roles, and also we're always going to be there to be able to support one another and help you grow and develop across your career journey at Computer Centre. Okay, and I thought I'd also share this video with you as well. This video is a group interview that we had with a few ex-placement students who were at Computer Centre to find out a little bit more about our work culture here at the company, and also find out how they found their roles when they were working at Computer Centre. Okay, fantastic. So I thought I'd give you a bit of a break before we continue with the rest of the webinar. And then I had an interactive task planned for you to think about a few things around sustainability as a business challenge task that we do, and also linking it to the tech industry, any ideas that you'd like to share, if that's okay. So we have a 5-minute break. So if we come back for 10:53, that would be fantastic. You are welcome to stay on the call as well. Just keep yourself muted and your camera off. But I thought I'd give you a 5-minute break to use the bathroom and get a drink. Thank you very much. Welcome back, everyone. Just wait for everybody else to join the call again. Okay, thank you very much for rejoining the call, and we thought we'd go into the next part of the webinar, which is our business challenge activity. So I thought we'd do a bit of an interactive task for us for this part of the webinar, so that it's not too information heavy, but I can also give you an example of a few of the things that we do for different students across the UK, but also generally as a task to find out a little bit more about sustainability and also linking it to the IT industry. So typically this task is actually done with groups. So this could be either groups of students or graduates or anyone else that we work with. And again, we can actually do this as a group activity or as individual tasks as well. So if you wanted to think about this initial idea, this is an IT business challenge we've previously done with students. And this is based on creating an idea or a service solution that you could use as a sustainable IT product to be used by any company of any industry in the future. So, for example, you might think of an organisation that currently now has their own operations and way that they run their services, but how could you think about making that more sustainable in the future? It could be an existing organisation, or actually it could be a product or service idea that you have that you want to launch to any business that they can utilise to make their practices more sustainable. So, for example, you could take your favourite brand and think about how deliveries could be made more sustainable, reducing the use of plastics, for example, less wastage, for example, that could be mileage in terms of deliveries across the UK or Europe or anywhere else in the globe as well. Or it could be a specific IT product that you think could be more advanced, thinking about new technologies that could be utilised in the future and how you can use that in your day-to-day life. That could be for school students, that could be for university students, that could be for employees in a workplace, or it could be for the general public as well. So lots of ideas you can think about. And again, linking it to the actual ideas, how would it actually be sustainable? So what environmentally friendly materials or sources would you actually require the energy used from, or again, the actual products or the actual making of the actual IT product or service you are thinking of? What is the purpose of the product or service you're thinking of, and also the intended audience of it? So who is your target audience and how will it benefit people of today or tomorrow if it is for the future? If you can think about a cost potentially associated to this, that could be a random guess, or again, if you had time to do a little bit of research, you can find out what the average cost is for the current product, or if it's a brand new product, then it could be an estimated guess as well. Would you use the product yourself if you are the intended audience, or if not, why would that be the reason? And if you were to promote this, would it be business to business or would it be business to customer? So would you use, for example, social media marketing, billboards, train advertisements, for example, in public transport, email marketing, any of the above to be able to market your product? Or are there any other ways that you think about that could actually get your name out there? And also, how would you get your customers and the users of your product to be able to utilise it and find out about your idea? So I know there's only a few people on the call, but you are welcome to think about these ideas yourself. And I typically do give about 15 minutes for this, and then we can discuss this and present the ideas back to one another, and then have some time for Q&A at the end of the session as well. So you have about 15 minutes to think about this idea. And again, it could be as widespread and really creative and imaginative as you want, but it can also be something that you think that you would love to have in the future, that you could utilise yourself or in your own organisation, that would make your life just a little bit easier if you had advanced technology. But how would you make it sustainable, which is the most important factor of the business challenge? Okay. Does anyone have any questions before we start? I'll just check the chat box. No questions so far. Okay, so you have 15 minutes now. So we'll come back at 13 past 11 to hear some of your ideas. And again, you are welcome to work individually with this as well. So think about a few things, maybe do some research too. And we'll come back at quarter past, so just basically under quarter past, to share some of your ideas. And I have given everyone about a minute to be able to present back your ideas, if that's okay. And they'll think about some of the amazing ideas that you've been able to share. And then we can do a final Q&A session. Thank you very much, and I'll put the main briefing back on the slide. You have 5 minutes left, everyone. 5 minutes. Okay, everyone, that is now 11:15, so time is up. Thank you very much for partaking in that exercise, and it'd be really fantastic to hear everyone's ideas. So if you would be okay to do so, please could you unmute, and it would be lovely to hear some of the ideas that you came up with, and then we'll go around. So I'll just go through everyone on the call, and then we'll move on to the next person. And you have up to 1 minute to share your idea, and be really excited to hear what you've come up with. Is that Warwick? I think he's unmuted first.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you very much for unmuting.
Hi, thanks so far for your presentation. It's been very interesting.
Fantastic.
Well, in the short amount of time that we've had, although 15 minutes is in IT a very long time, my idea is using holograms, technology for business meetings, using virtual reality. What can it be used for? Presentations. Estate agents already use VR to market their properties, so anybody can really use it. Working from home was another idea. How will you make it? Well, we have LED, very sophisticated LED and laser technology. So it's an idea that's from the past, really. But I mean, it hasn't really been developed that much in my view. How much will it cost? That's a difficult one. It's the cost of the equipment. I've got a minute, haven't I? I've better speed up.
It's okay.
It can be tailored to the customer's requirement. So it could cost a relatively small amount of money, just the equipment, the LED laser beacons and the software. How does it benefit people of today? Well, it's sustainable because people don't have to travel around so much. You can bring it to the person's home or office or meeting. How would I use the product myself? I'd love to. And how would I promote it? Well, I'd use the product itself to promote it. Again, the cost of marketing would be very low because all you've got to do is supply a small amount of equipment to the location, and using Internet of Things, using the technology that we have. I think using holograms is, although it's been around a long time, for entertainment, listening to music, that sort of thing, watching a orchestra, that kind of thing. Cost of marketing would really be open-ended. So I think that's all I can think of.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that, Ian. That is a fantastic idea. I don't think I've actually heard someone actually offer that as an idea for this challenge. So thank you. Holograms would be absolutely fantastic. And yes, it is very much sustainable. And it would just be the initial cost of equipment and how that's shared amongst people all across the globe. And then again, not having to travel within that as well. And then using advanced technology to utilize that and how that progresses. So thank you. That's a fantastic idea. I really appreciate that. And over
my pleasure.
Thank you. Over to the next person. I think, is it Phil who unmuted next? If you're
yes. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. Yes.
Yeah, my idea is it's something that has been sort of tried before, but the idea is that to have a mobile phone which is halfway between a dumb phone and a smartphone. So that you will basically, what you would do, it'd be modular. So you would upgrade it bit by bit. So you wanted a new camera, you would upgrade the camera and those sort of things. But also the software with modular. You would choose, as you're buying the mobile phone, what apps you wanted.
Yeah.
So if you didn't want social media, you wouldn't have social media, but you wanted your banking app and that sort of thing. So, and the idea then would be that you would have one phone which would last you, say, 10 years or so.
That's right. Yeah.
Rather than upgrading all the time. Because one thing I thought is I don't want the top of the range mobile phone. I don't want the brand spanking new iPhone or Google Pixel or whatever it is. I just want a phone that does the things I wanted to do, gets me from A to B, all those sort of things. And I'd be happy to have the same one for several years if I knew that it was always up to date.
That's right. Yeah.
But I didn't need to then spend a whole lot more money just to get a new phone because the old one was no longer upgradable.
That's right. Yeah, That's a very good idea. Definitely. I've had variations of this, but the way you've explained it as well, it makes absolute perfect sense. And again, as you say, you want to upgrade certain parts of the phone. You need to have a surplus of apps that you don't utilize, wasting storage, wasting the battery life as well. And again, that one particular phone could actually last up to 10 years, and you can just swap out the newest technology where needed, which suits you and what's personalized to your use as well. So a really, really good idea. Yeah.
Helps you reduce e-waste because you're not, people aren't just throwing phones away. And I think it would be quite useful for people who were not really into phones per se and technology. It's just I just want something, does what I wanted to do.
The job. Yeah.
It's powerful enough for what I wanted to do, but I'm not spending thousands or hundreds of pounds on a new phone all the time.
That's right. No, I completely agree. And how much would you say the phone might cost if you were to purchase it?
I would expect it would probably be a bit more than a mobile phone now.
Yes, because
you would see
how durable it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So if it was say £500, whereas the phone I bought recently was at £300, but if I knew that £500 was then spread over 10 years in effect, then I might be willing to spend that bit extra because I knew that I wouldn't be needing to spend the same amount of money in a couple of years' time.
That's right, exactly. And then you just pay for the individual parts that you would upgrade, wouldn't you?
That's right. You'd say, "Oh, I need a new. There's a new camera which does X, Y, or Z."
Yeah.
One of the reasons I was thinking about this is Google now is offering 7 years OS updates for their phones.
Okay, I didn't know. Wow.
And also, it's when you look at new phones that come out, they're not a major step different from the one before. It's kind of, we've upped this a little bit, we've made this a bit better, we've made this a bit faster, and you sort of think, well, okay, well, if I could take that component out and put a new one in because I thought that was useful, then that might, because then you could say to someone, well, your upgrade, because you're just upgrading that one bit, might be £50 or £100 rather than spending a whole load of extra money on the
whole new device. Yeah, that's right. No, completely agree. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I think lastly, I said, what would you do around marketing? So would you, in terms of maybe the younger audience, for those who are quite young and they're in their school audience and they obviously want to get the newest iPhone when they're year 7, year 8, how would you market it to those younger to actually think about the importance of durability and sustainability and not just getting the brand new iPhone when you can actually have a long-lasting phone?
I would piggyback on that. There's quite a lot on YouTube now about people in their 20s and 30s talking about digital detox and going for your Nokia dumb phones and things like that. So I would sort of say, okay, I can see what you're saying, but why not have something that allows you to detox from the smartphone, so you can move away from social media if that worries you and that sort of thing, but have a phone which does the things that you want the phone to do. That's like the GPS, the camera, your banking app, whatever those things are, and then say, okay, I want to detox from all the negative aspects that is highlighted a lot in those videos that people are talking about, the digital detox. And I think this would be a nice sort of halfway house, sort of say, well, okay, you don't, because a lot of them say, oh, I like using my Nokia flip phone for doing this, that, and the other, but I can't use WhatsApp and I can't get maps on it, and it doesn't do this, and I can't get my banking, I can't get PayPal, all those sort of things on it. So having that sort of middle ground might be a great way of attracting those people and saying, okay, well, you can digital detox, but you don't have to go up the whole way.
That's right. Yes, exactly. And then they can obviously variate it, but have a variety where needed. So that's fantastic. Yeah. Thank you very much for that. I really appreciate that as well. Another fantastic idea. Thank you. And last but not least, I believe we have Philip. If you're happy to share your idea.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Yeah. So for my idea, I think it's just reinventing the wheel. What I'm thinking of, it already exists, but how can we make it environmentally friendly?
Yeah.
So I'm looking at maybe wearable health monitoring devices. So we already have that where you have the iPhone have the iWatch that you already wear. So what I'm looking at is designing it to be more environmental friendly instead of having to charge it always. Can we rely on alternative ways of getting power to it, like solar power or harvesting heat from the body? So when someone wear it and go for a walk or do some exercise at a gym, the heat that they generate, can it be used to monitor, or sorry, can it be used to charge such a device? And
Yes.
when this is also linked to the hospital system, they can remotely monitor this individual. So you only need to go to the hospital when you need to. And with that, it helps save you from having to go to hospital, and hospital can also monitor you with those with chronic health conditions. Yeah. So I think.
Fantastic. That's a really, really good idea. I haven't heard of that one before, actually, especially
Mm.
how it links to hospital data and how they can monitor you obviously from remote places, and then also how it's solar generated. So that's also a really good one in terms of natural light. And say, for example, it was based in the rainy, horrible UK, and during our poor winter seasons,
Yes.
if you don't get as much sunlight, how would the watch or the device be able to store the sunlight energy, or the solar energy?
Yeah, so it could either have a reserve, you have a component that stores the excess energy to be used later,
Yeah.
or or as I said, this individual one way or another will go through some exercise. So as they generate heat from their body, that can also be used to charge the
right.
device as well. Mm.
That's fantastic. Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you very much for sharing that as well. I really appreciate it. And yeah, thank you to all of you. I think fantastic ideas. Some, again, all pretty much brand new ideas that I hadn't heard of from all the times that I've done this challenge. So thank you very much for sharing that. I would say they're all winning ideas. I couldn't pick out of the three of you. I would implement all three of them myself. And just finally, just to go to my last slide, thank you very much for listening. And I thought if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And I also have a link to share with you, and also my email address and my team's email address as well. And I also have a link to share in the chat. So if it was to look for any of our opportunities, you can go straight to our website on computercentre.com and go to our early careers section, and then also find out about when our job opportunities go live. So the apprenticeship programs aren't live just yet, but I will share the link for the graduate programs if that is applicable to any of you. And then the apprenticeship programs will go live, all of them, by January. So I'll be able to share that again with the Hertfordshire Council, and that'll be promoted on social media platforms and on LinkedIn as well. Does anyone have any questions so far? I will share this slide as well. And just to say, the QR code on here is actually being updated as we have a new platform that we utilise. So please don't take this QR code as a snapshot. But again, the links are straight from our website. The apprenticeship vacancies aren't live just yet, but the graduate programmes are. But my details and my team's details are also on the screen. And this will have a variety of roles within business teams and also the technical teams as well. And if there are no further questions, I'll hand over back to Sarah again. But thank you very much for your time. Thank you for listening to this webinar. Any other questions you might have, please feel free to contact me or my team on the email addresses provided. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Renee. Really, really insightful. Gave us a really good understanding of all the opportunities available at Computer Centre. And also, please thank Mante as well, because her presentation was really good and really insightful too. One question I just wanted to ask, if what would you say the main skills, if we're ignoring qualifications and we're just thinking about skills? And I know Mante touched on how much her communication skills have improved. If you're looking for someone within Computer Centre to take on a role, what would you say the main skills are that you're looking for in terms of those employability skills?
Thank you for asking that, Sarah. That's a really good question. And it's funny you actually mentioned that, because even though we do obviously have grade requirements and people that come in with expertise and some without, it's not all about the grades that you have or the background that you've come from. It is often about the soft skills that you have to showcase when you are applying for different programs. So a lot of things we do look for in our interview stages and also our assessment centre stages as well is your communication skills potentially. That could be how you work within a team. Leadership skills potentially as well, strategic thinking, critical thinking, and all of the above. So presentation skills even are a really key skill that we look for in candidates who apply for our programs, as that will come into play in different parts of your role, but also people skills as well. So you could be working with a customer, you could be working with a larger team, and also it's generally how you interact with others at the company, as we are very people-centric, but generally the soft skills that you have to showcase. Apologies, some people can't always necessarily learn that from their previous education, so either haven't experienced in that or from any extra opportunities that you might embark on outside of the school education or outside of your job. Again, it's really important to showcase that, and also other things that make you stand out and that make you unique to your position, and also how that obviously compares to anybody else applying to the same program as you. We definitely do have a strong focus on soft skills. We talk about this during our work experience weeks as well. And again, they're not always things you can actually learn from a teacher, for example, but it's actually important you can implement that, particularly in the workplace and how you can interact and work with others in a team.
Brilliant. Thank you. Really, really appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for sharing with us. And for those of you that are on the call, thank you for participating. Thank you for getting involved. We'll arrange for the recording probably to be out in the next 24 to 48 hours. So I will email that out to you, and it will then also go on to the Step2Skills YouTube channel for future viewing.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Have a great rest of your day, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.